Hey polish fans, it's Caroline again and welcome to another video at Wild Moon Lacquer. In today's video we are doing more destashing. I've already done part one of my purples. This is a continuation of kind of my purples, except in this tote there are other colors mixed in. I see, well, that's a purple. That's purple. But I do see some other colors mixed in there. So it's not strictly a purple tote, but we're going to call it purple number 2 because technically this started out as a tote of nail polish that was all purple. So let's go ahead and jump in. I've already got at this point about 90 some odd polishes on my Destash. So if you want to check that out, it's going to be linked down below. It's Wild Moon Destash on Instagram. So let's go ahead and jump in. The first polish is from C&D Vinylux. This one is called Wild Moss. I will be keeping this one because I have yet to wear it and I think it's a really beautiful shade. Mossy colors and sage colors, minty shades of green are definitely a go-to family of greens. So I really like this. I do want to try it. I will put it aside in the keep pile. Next is one from Revlon. This one is called Ocean Breeze. I think this is, one of their scented nail polishes. I don't believe I've worn it yet, although I do seem to have a little bit of evaporation going on. And this is another bottle where this has happened. The first bottle was from Quixotic, I think. Now it's another Revlon bottle that is sort of, I don't even know what you call that, but it's a messed up label. I definitely wasn't like that when I purchased it, so I don't know what's happening to them because it's not a perfectly straight bottle. So I wouldn't think it's an issue of rubbing up against anything, but who knows? In any case, it is sort of a mermaidy blue-green teal shade. I do really like how this one looks though. I will have to eventually come back and pull my mermaidy shades and see if I have any duplicates. That I think is the closest one, but in this tote anyways that I just saw, but it's darker. And I already did pull one from 7 that I pulled from box 1 that I'm destashing. So I think I will hold on to this because it is really pretty. The other one that I'm thinking of I think is a Sally Hansen shade. So we'll have to see that about comparing those sometime soon. The next one is Bluebird Lacquer. This is Hot Crocolet. This one I might destash. It is a very, very dark green with a little bit of brown in it. It is a holographic and it is a really beautiful shade, full of a whole lot of goodies, but I got this a few years back in a destash and I have not worn it yet. So I think I'll go ahead and pass it along to someone else that might enjoy it. This type of green, I just don't reach for very often. And I know early on in my indie polish buying, I was picking up a lot of this type of shade, very dark greens, very, very dark purples, because I'd never seen the finish before. I was just drawn to them, but through my experience in the last few years of owning a lot of indie polishes, I've discovered that I don't really reach for them as much as I thought I would. So we'll go ahead and destash the Bluebird. Next up is one from Lily Pad Lacquer. This one is Break the Rules. I will be keeping this, but I will be pulling it out at some point to compare it to my multichromes with flakies, but it is a really beautiful combination. And multichromes are one of my favorite finishes, and I love it when makers throw in other stuff like glitters or flakies to sort of make it unique. So this one is pretty unique to my collection, and the base itself shifts really beautifully to so many different colors. I can't even begin to say what they are, but sort of a teal to berry shade are two of the more prominent colors. So that's a keeper. Next up is one from Fair Maiden, and this one is Reach for the Sky. And my bottle has definitely faded. I think it's supposed to be a much brighter toned, almost neon leaning color. But I will keep it because this particular shade that it is now is actually a nail polish that I was trying to find. So I'll have to keep this one in mind. In fact, I might just keep this out for my summer rack because I really like this shade. Next up is one from a brand called Echoes Polish. I don't even know that this brand exists anymore. I think I found this in a destash, but this one is called Oh, Aren't You Shifty? And this one is a really beautiful shade. It's a multi-chrome with holographic in it. And it looks like my swatch ring doesn't have a top coat on it, but look how beautiful that is. I think I will be holding on to this. It will be another candidate of ones to come back to do some side-by-side comparisons here when I get the opportunity at some point. But for the time being, I'll go ahead and keep that one. Next up is one from Lovely Lacquer. This one is called Hugs and Kisses, and I will be holding on to this. I need to figure out a time that I want to wear this because I almost pulled it out for my spring rack and then I didn't. And it's not exactly bright enough for a summer polish. Although, I wonder if it could be. I wonder if this might make a fun accent nail to wear with like a red polish. Something like a coloristic Carol. This one is Give Me a Sign. That could sort of play up the red, or could do a summer cream from Sally Hansen. This one's already on my summer rack as well. This one is called Class Act, and then this could be a really fun accent. I think that's what I'll do. I will put this on my summer rack and see if I can't get to wearing that. I'm going to have to go through my summer rack now and whittle it down because I'm already getting too many polishes. We'll see how that goes. Next up is one from Femme Fatale. This one is called Turbinium. Definitely holding on to this one. Femme Fatale is one of those brands that I really, really enjoy, and I actually ended up whittling down quite a lot of them when I initially moved, I think. And I sort of regret getting rid of some that I did. But at the time I was fine with it, so it is what it is. But I really like this particular one. It mixes purple with blue and flakies, so I'm definitely keeping that one. Next up is one from Fan Chromatic Nails. This one is called The Pie Hole. This one came out in Polish Pickup a few years back. I don't remember what year, but I want to say probably 2018 or 19. And it's a really cute green. I remember being really happy with the swatches that I saw. That was when Fat Cat Polished was doing all of the Polish Pickup swatch videos, and it was really fun to tune in and watch her swatches. And this was one that I'm pretty sure I saw her swatch, and it was a really beautiful polish, and it still is fairly unique to my collection. It is a slightly brighter green than most of the minty shades that I am drawn to. And then this one also has a scattering of some like copper micro flakies as well as some micro iridescent flakies and shifting shimmer. I still have yet to wear this. I need to get it on my nails, so we'll see about doing that probably next spring, but for the time being I will be keeping it. Next up is one from Celestial. This one is called Aurora. I will be keeping this one. Look at that in the bottle. I think it's freaking my camera out. Needs to be shaken a bit, but look at that. This particular type of shimmer that she used is a larger particle shifting shimmer, and it comes off looking so beautiful. So I will be keeping that one. Next up is one from Blackheart Beauty. This is part of their iridescent collection, and this one is called Iridescent Peacock. I will be keeping this. I absolutely adore peacocks, and I love this tone of color. They've mixed a beautiful deep blue with a vibrant green shimmer. It doesn't exactly pop hugely on the nail, but you can see it. It adds a beautiful tone to the color. So for the time being, I'll be holding on to that and seeing if I can't get it on my nails. Next up is one from Elevation Polish. This one is called The Keck, and this is another one of those shades of green that I really do like. It's a bit on the mossy side, maybe a deep sage. It reminds me of early fall, so I'll see about trying to pull this onto my next fall rack maybe. I think it's really beautiful, so I will be keeping that. I need to start like a pile for my fall polishes already. Gotta start planning. Alright, next up is one from Paint Box Polish. This is Who Are You? I will be keeping this. It's another one of those beautiful multi-chromes. I had a type early on for sure, and I grabbed multi-chromes left and right. This is one of those shifts that I want to come back and see about doing a comparison of, because I've got to have something similar in my collection. But this one does have a beautiful mix of components in here. You've got, I think, like silver and pale gold flakies, like glass fleck flakes. So it is fairly unique as far as that goes, but I do want to come back and do some comparisons of my multichromes because I'm sure I have at least similar shifts somewhere in my collection. But look at all those colors. You can see some orange popping up there on the edge of the bottle. Beautiful. Next up is one from Pure Ice. This one is called Polite to Glare, and I will be keeping this, even though this one is another color that I will have to come back at some point and do some side-by-side comparisons of and see if I have any dupes. I mean, I'm looking at my spring rack right in front of me, and I've got some that are at least tonally similar. The Orly, which is Kaleidoscope Eyes, is a bit brighter, but similar. What else? I think that actually might be the closest that's on my spring rack, which is kind of surprising, but in any case, eventually I might have to come back and do some comparisons, but I will be keeping that for now. Next up is one from Graceful Nail Polish. This one is called Oh Dumbledore, My Dumbledore. And I think I'm right. I thought it earlier. I'm pretty sure this is one of the totes that I did go through to try to find my enchanted nail polish. So you will see some duplicates here, but this is definitely one I'm keeping. Beautifully shifty polish there. Next up is one from Sayuri. This one is called Revive the Eternal Light. This one is such a unique color. It is a like pink toned brown full of a green shifting shimmer and holographic. I don't think I have anything else quite like this in my collection, so I'm definitely holding on to that one. Next up is one from Revlon. This one is called Bohemian, and I think I'm holding on to this. This is one of those colors of tealy blue that I really like. It's like a dark mermaid. It also has a like green glass fleck. I don't know if you can see it along the edge of the bottle there, but really beautiful color. So we'll see if I can't get this on my nails maybe in the fall, but it's a gorgeous color. Next up is one from Nerd Lacquer. This one is Heartache. I might have mentioned it the first time that I pulled this or one of the other Nerd Lacquers out of my collection, but I don't know that they make polish anymore. I got mine in a Destash quite a long time ago, in fact, but I thought that this one was a really beautiful, soft, like lilac shade. I don't believe I have a top coat on this, but in the bottle, it has a lot of beautiful glass fleck going on. So I might have to come back at some point and see about doing some comparisons, but it's a beautiful shade, so I will be holding on to that for the time being. Next up is one from Native War Paints. This is Constable. I gotta start getting some of these in my destash. I haven't destashed but one so far. Oh my goodness. Constable, let's see. Constable needs a little bit of help. A bit of evaporation going on. What I like about it is it's got some interesting components going on, but I think I will destash this. I will see about fixing it, and if it's fixable, we'll destash it. Yeah, I've had it for a while and I haven't worn it, so we'll go ahead and destash that one. And next up is one from Moomoo's Signatures. This is Bullfinch on Rowan Tree. And this is one I'm definitely keeping. I think this is a super unique polish. Look at those flakies in there and the shimmer, all in a beautiful deep blue base. Very unique to my collection. I need to get this one on my nails, but it's really gorgeous and unique, so we're holding on to that one. Next up is one from Dawlish Polish. This one is Where My Peeps At. Definitely keeping this one. In fact, I should probably add this to my summer rack. Next up is one from Pure Ice. This one is called Home Run. And I'm pretty sure I've had this on at least one of my spring racks, and I really love this color. This is that tone that I was talking about earlier in the mint family that I really, really like. Definitely drawn to this, so I'm holding on to that one. Next up is one from Station Nail Lacquer. This one is called Gimme Jimmy. This is another one that's super, super unique to my collection. I got this from Trans Design few years ago. I keep wanting to say a couple. It's like I merged 2020 and 2021 together into one year. But this one I have yet to wear. It's sort of a dusty purple with a green flash, and then it's got these really interesting glitters in it. Sort of scattered. We'll see about getting this on my nails, and if I like it, I'll keep it. Next up is one from Linby Designs. This one is called Sherlock the Dragon Slayer. Definitely holding on to this one. I really, really like this polish. This is a beautiful green. It's got a scattering of gold holographic glitter in it, and then a beautiful shifting shimmer. Plus, it's inspired by Sherlock, so love that one. Next up, we've got one from Blue Eyed Girl Lacquer. This one is called Science is Curiosity, and this one I actually just matched up back with its little label because the label had fallen off into the tote. So I found out who it belonged to and taped it back together. This one though I will be keeping. It is a really beautiful magnetic polish and I really like it. We will have to see about, again, coming back and doing some comparisons of my magnetics at some point, but for the time being, it's a keeper. Next is one from Revlon. This is called Orchid, and this one is a really beautiful orchidy shade. I do, however, feel like I have colors like this. In fact, I wore this one from Essie not that long ago. It's not the exact same finish, but I feel like I have this in a metallic finish. So we're going to destash this. We're going to go ahead and destash Orchid. I got to get rid of some of these, right? Okay, next up is one from Anchor and Heart. This one is Small Shop 2018, and this is a very unique polish. I have yet to wear it though, and I don't know if it's really up my alley. It is a beautiful kitchen sink polish full of a whole lot of different flakies and glitters, but the tone of it, I just don't know that I would reach for it. So I think I will be getting rid of it. So we've got another one for the destash, but look at the gorgeous mix in here. Flakies galore. All right, three in a destash. I feel better about than just one. Okay, next up is another one from Anchor and Heart. This is Night Blooming Garden. This one came out in the New York Polish Con for June of 2018. This is a really beautiful green loaded with flakies and shimmer and hollow. I'll be holding on to this one. That is really beautiful. Next up is one from A. England. This one is Wuthering Heights. And have I worn this? I don't remember offhand, but I definitely remember the name. This is one of those colors that you see from my channel quite a lot because I buy this tone of color a lot. I really love grays that lean either a little bit or a lot of bit purple, and this is definitely one of those. Plus it's got hollow in it. I think for the time being we will go ahead and hold on to it, but this is definitely one of those shades that I will have to come back and do lots of comparisons with because I'm sure I have similar tones. I'm sure of it. Next is from Pepper Pot. This is Going Topless. This is a very unique polish, again sort of in the light brown or dark taupe color. Then you've got a beautiful shifting shimmer in it. This one is, well, maybe not a shifting shimmer. I think this one might just be a green shimmer. I think I will go ahead and destash this one. This tone, again, is not one that I really reach for. I think I will be destashing that one. Next up is one from Sayuri. This one is called Licorice Laces. And this one is a beautiful soft lilac. Again, it's got a contrasting green shift in it, or a shimmer, plus a scattering of, I think, holographic in there, just a scattering. I think I will be getting rid of this one though. It's one of those shades that I think my bottle has faded ever so slightly, and I have a lot in this tone, so it wouldn't be that difficult for me to find something similar in this color family in my collection, so we'll go ahead and destash that one. Next is one from Chaotic Glitz. This is Cause I'm the Boogeyman. This is a really beautiful deep brown full of holographic. There's also a multichrome element to this, so you see gold and green as well. I think I will be destashing this one as well. I just haven't been reaching for browns very often, and when I do, they're more orange leaning than this. So we'll go ahead and destash that one. All right, we're up to 6. Yay! All right, the next is C&D Vinylux. This one is called Viridian Veil, and I will be keeping this one. This is a beautiful jewel-toned green, full of, I think, like a silver, like metallic or hollow. It's actually really hard to distinguish what it is, but there's a beautiful sheen to it. It might be micro hollow, but definitely keeping that one. Next up is one from Julep. This one is called Valerie. I think I will go ahead and destash this one as well. It's a beautiful deep green, but like I said about the hot crocolate from Bluebird, I just don't reach for these super deep greens. I usually like it to be a brighter jewel tone. This is pretty dark, so I will go ahead and destash this one. Next up is one from LA Colors. This is called Bali Bliss. And same with this one. It's a really pretty color. It's almost like a dark mermaid, sort of like ocean breeze, except even darker. Actually a lot darker by comparison. But yeah, I haven't worn it since I got it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and destash that one. Next up is another from Chaotic Glitz. This one is Atlanta Botanical Garden. And I think I will be destashing this one as well. I think I initially did have this in a destash and then I pulled it back out because I wanted to keep it. But I have not worn it since putting it back in my rack. And I think someone else might really enjoy it. It is a gorgeous, deep, vampy shade. You've got a load of shifting shimmer in it. You can see the green and gold there. But I just haven't pulled it out. And I think it's time to just pass it along. All right, technically that's 10 now. We are on the verge of possibly equalizing what I did in video 1, which is exciting. Next up is one from Sally Hansen. This one is called Lavender Pearl. This one is kind of surprising based on the name because, as you can see, this is not purple in any way, shape, or form. So interesting, but I did get this for 99 cents at Goodwill, so we'll have to give it a try. I have yet to do like a topper party with it to see what it looks like over different shades, but it does have a beautiful shift to it. You can see the aqua coming out beautifully, but there's also like a pink and maybe a little bit of purple at different angles. So again, a little bit of purple. I don't know why they called it lavender, but we'll keep it for right now. Next up is one from Sally Hansen. This is Petal to the Metal. I don't remember if I wore this or not, but I think I will go ahead and destash it. I was on the hunt for a very specific shade of a purple metallic, and I just don't think this is quite what I was looking for, and I have yet to pull it out at least more than once, so we'll go ahead and destash that. Next up is another from Femme Fatale. This one is Shadow Stare. This was a Shiro Cosmetics exclusive. I actually don't know if Shiro Cosmetics is still around, so if you know, feel free to let me know. But this one is sort of on the purpley taupey grayish side of things. It's got some silver fleck in it as well as a red shimmer. I have never worn it, and yeah, I think I'm going to destash it. See if we can't find her home where someone will wear her. Next up is Leisha's Lacquer. This is Northern Lights. This one is a really beautiful deep multichrome full of hollow. I think I will be getting rid of this one though. I mean, it's almost like an oil slick in a bottle, but it's a very, very dark one. And like I said, I have a lot of multichromes in my collection and I just have never reached for this one. So I think it's time to pass that one along. Next up is one from Siren. I can never remember what brand this is. Siren or Mermaid, something like that. And it is Pave Festival. This one came out in Polish Pickup. And this one is a really beautiful color. It has a like teal aqua base full of purple multichrome flakies. It's really gorgeous. I have yet to wear it, but I think I will hold on to it. Next up is one from Pure Ice. This is called Iced Copper. Like I've been saying with my Pure Ices, I think I'm going to hold on to all of the ones that I think I will wear in the future, and I could easily see myself wearing this in the fall. Next up is another Sally Hansen. This one is Iris Illusion. This is another one of those polishes that I will have to come back and do a comparison to my other shimmer polishes. I can already think of at least one from Sinful Colors from bucket number 1 of my purples that might be at least similar, but for the time being I'm going to hold on to it and then we'll have to come back at some point to do some comparisons. Next up is one from Dawn Diva. This one is called Popsicle Boulevard. This one has OGUP, came out in January 2019. And I will be holding on to this one. I don't have many polishes from this brand. I think I only have a handful. So yeah, we'll hold on to this one. It's a beautiful color, beautiful purple, and it's got the OG UP in it. And if you're like, what are you talking about? UP pigment is unicorn pea pigment, and it is an original pigment that came out many, many years ago. It wasn't a brand I was familiar with. Came out with a polish that had UP pigment in it, and everyone went crazy for it once you couldn't get it anymore. I think that was possibly the brand that Christine over at Holo Taco bought, or her boyfriend bought for her. So it's a very desirable shift. Let's see if I can't get that to show up here. It's the green to red. It is a light, small particle, but you can see it. And usually the polishes that it's in are somewhat of a jelly formula. That way you can actually see the pigment. If you put too much pigmentation in the base, you will drown out the UP. But a lot of makers like Bee's Knees Lacquer and other indie makers have been able to find it. I guess the pigment was originally, totally on a rant here, but I guess the pigment was originally very big in like car painter shops. So if they didn't have, let's say, enough to do a paint job, but they have enough pigment left, you can make a lot of nail polish for less than what you can do with one car, if that makes sense. In any case, I think that's where some of the brands are getting it. I could be totally mistaken, but that's what I've heard. Up next, after that huge rant, is one from Jindy Nails. So this one is called Juliet, and I think I'm going to be keeping this. This is another brand that I've mentioned before. I don't know if they're making polish anymore, but I thought this was a really cute polish. It is sort of a lavender cream with a fun mix of blue and fuchsia glitters in it. So we'll see if I can't get this one on my nails at some point, but we'll keep it. Up next is one from Lynn B Designs. This one is called I Am the Mask You Wear. This one came out in the Phantom of the Opera collection, and it's a really unique shade actually. It's sort of a mulberry, but what's really interesting is the mix of components that she put in here. You've got some sheer silver flakies, plus some larger glitter bits, like possibly square glitters in there, right there. Just a scattering, some shards. So it's got a very interesting mix in here. And like I said, the tone of this polish is really beautiful. So I think for the time being, we'll hold on to that one. Up next is one from Alter Ego. I think sadly this is one of the brands that shut down within the last year or so, if I'm not mistaken, but this one is called Petal Perfect. This is one of those shades that I probably have a lot of in this type of shift because I'm definitely drawn to it. It is a beautiful soft lilac full of blue. This particular one has a nice larger particle size in there as well. Very beautiful, so we'll be holding on to that. I might have to again add this to a comparison at some point, but we'll keep it for now. Next up is another one from Sally Hansen. This one is called Gray Area. This is another of those colors that you see me pull a lot because I really like this tone of almost a brown gray. So it's a very dark color, but it's got a pinch of purple in it by comparison when you compare it to a brown or a dark gray that does not have any purple in it. So I really like it. The one that I think this one is similar to is the Revlon from bucket number 1, which I think is buried at the moment. I put them away already. But I'll have to come back and do a comparison. I might even have an Essie that is a similar color, but for the time being, we'll hold on to it. Next up is one from Blackheart Beauty. This one is called Teal Galaxy, and I definitely want to hold on to this one. I was pretty impressed with the holographic effect from this polish, so unless I end up coming back and doing a comparison and finding an exact dupe in an indie, I'll probably hold on to it. And even if I do find an indie dupe, I'll probably hold on to it just for the bottles, at least for now. But I mean, look at the holo in there. Really beautiful. Next up is one from Cameo Colors. This is Keebler Paradise, and this is a magnetic. Let's see. It's got sort of a subtle gold pull, and then the base is green with some like fall toned flakies. I think I will destash this. Again, this is a tone of green that I just don't reach for very often. This particular shade of green I think of as a fall shade, and my fall colors are full of oranges and terracotta shades and other colors. Like blue is another color, like a dark blue is usually when I wear my dark blue multichrome. So I just haven't found time to wear this. And it's not a color that I think I would pull any other time of year. So I think I will go ahead and destash this one. Next up, we've got one from China Glaze. This one is called Chic Happens. And I actually have been destashing quite a few of my purple metallics that I just don't wear. I'm probably tired of hearing the story, but I a while back was looking for the perfect purple metallic in just the right shade, and I think this one is pretty close. It's not like a chrome finish or anything like that, but I think I will go ahead and keep this one. I did destash already a few of the others that I had found. So I think I'll hold on to this one and maybe do a swatch at some point and see if I like how it looks or if I have any dupes in my collection still after this destash. Next up is one that I can tell you right now I'm not getting rid of. This is my one and only bottle of NFUO. This is number 51. If I'd known ahead of time that the brand was not going to be in existence, I would have bought way more, but I didn't, so I only bought one polish from this brand. And as you can see, the bottles themselves are absolutely beautiful. The lid is a corset top. You got lace in the back, a bow. Then you've got the bust in the top with some beautiful detailing. We'll get this out of the way so you can see it. Beautiful detailing here. I've never seen someone else do a bottle shape like this. The bottom part of it is like the dress with more details. Yeah, a dress, exactly like a dress. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. So that's just the bottle, let alone the polish. This has a beautiful flaky mix in it, and this color is gorgeous. Like I said, if I had known they were going out of business shortly after I bought this, I would have bought way more than just this one bottle. But in any case, I will be keeping it, and I've already tried looking online, even recently, to see if anyone was getting rid of them, and those that are, have them priced rather high, so I will be holding on to this and wearing it sparingly. Next up is one from AR. I think this is Alana Renee, and this one is called Drink of Despair. This is a green glitter bomb, and will I be keeping this? I think I will. I like the tone of green. It is a beautiful emerald green, so I think I'll hold on to it and see if I can't get myself to wear it. Next up is another from Pure Ice. This one is called Taupe Drawer, and you guessed it, this is another in that family of colors that I purchase quite a lot, sort of a mix between a taupe and a mauve. I really like this tone, and again, I'll have to come back and do some comparisons and see if I have any Essies or Zoyas specifically in this shade, because I'm pretty sure I do, but I really like this, and it's a beautiful cream formula. Next up is one from Lily Pad Lacquer. This is called Sweet Love. This is a beautiful purple or lilac holographic. I will be holding on to this one. I really like the tone of this. It's beautiful, and the holographic looks gorgeous. Up next is another from C&D Vinylux. This one is called Patina Buckle, and I'm definitely keeping this one. I need to go ahead and get this on my nails. I've got to see about maybe putting this in my next fall rack because it's gorgeous. Next up is one from Arissa. This one is called Rockin' Amethyst, and I think I'm going to hold on to this one as well. It's another purple, surprise, surprise, as is a lot of the polish from this bucket. But this, I think, is possibly the only polish that I have from this brand, and it's a gorgeous color. I don't know if it's coming across on camera, but those flakes in here are really beautiful and vibrant. I don't know if that's coming across too well, but it's a really gorgeous color, so I will be holding on to that one. Next up is one from Powder Perfect. This is Drunken Gummy Bears. I am definitely holding on to this. This is definitely a shade of orange that I can see myself wearing in the fall, but also in the summer. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous color. So definitely holding on to that one. Next is one from I Love Nail Polish, ILNP. This is called Timeless Vow. This is, again, another of those shades of green that I really, really like. Plus, it's holographic, and there's this beautiful mix of like a gold to green flaky in there. It's gorgeous, so I will be holding on to that. Next is one from Color Club. This one is called It's About Time, spelled like the herb. And I will be holding on to this one. This is a really interesting shade of green for my collection. It is sort of a yellow leaning light green. And I think I would enjoy wearing this maybe in the early fall. Maybe as a transition between summer and fall. But again, it's fairly unique to my collection because a lot of the greens that I have are more minty or sagey. So this one definitely stands out. Next up is one from 1850 Artisan Polish. This is Chocolate Waterfall. And I think I had considered destashing this one before. It's a beautiful chocolate brown hollow. I don't know if I'm going to destash this one or keep it. It's got a light like milk chocolate tone to it, which leans ever so slightly in like the deep rosewood family. But I've had it for a while and I've never worn it, so I think I will go ahead and destash that one. All right, we're at 15. I'm happy with that. And we're getting super close to tying, at least tying with video number 1 of my purples. The next one is from, I think this is, Fleur de Lis Polish, and this one is called Fairy Wings. This is another brand that I have no idea if they're still making polish or not. I forgot if I researched that the first time I mentioned that, but this is another really beautiful lilac shade, almost like a mix between a lilac and a sky blue, if that makes any sense. There's a bit of blue in here. There is also a linear holographic. It is a very, very soft color though, almost leaning white. So I think I'll go ahead and destash this one. Next up is one from Butter London. This is called All Hail the Queen. And this one is a beautiful, like camel toned hollow. I think I will destash this one. I don't know that I love this on my skin tone. So I'll go ahead and find the cap and put this in my destash. I don't think I ever wore this, so I've only swatched it on the little nail ring there. Up next is one from Femme Fatale, and I can already tell you before telling you the name, I'm keeping this one. This is Agrabah. Came out in Polish Pickup for August of 2018, and this one was based on Aladdin. I love this kind of polish. It is a beautiful orange with pink, and that is another combination of colors that I really like together. Plus, there's a beautiful array of flakies and shimmer in here, so definitely keeping this one. Next up is one from Julep, and this one is called Elena. And I think this was one that I like from them. Again, it's in that color family that I will have to come back and do some comparisons of, but for the time being, we're keeping it. Next up is one from Leisha's Lacquer. This one is called Tough Cookie. Definitely keeping this one. I really like the shifts in this one. It is a very unique red to rust multichrome, but there's also like some magenta or berry in here. Plus there's some like micro iridescent flakies and scattered hollow. It's a gorgeous and very unique polish, so I'm definitely keeping that. Next up is one very fuzzy polish from Kiss. This one is called Fall Ing, and I'm definitely holding on to this one. It's a beautiful fall berry toned cream. Next up is one from Avon, and this one is called Aurora. And for the time being, I'm going to keep this one as well. It's a beautiful holographic, like scattered holographic formula from them. I really like the tone of this, and I don't think I have anything else quite like it. Next up, we've got one from Pacifica. This is Caveman Matte. I believe I found this at Goodwill. It was one of those shades that I kept eyeing on their website and in stores if I ever went into Ulta, but I never grabbed it. So when I found it at Goodwill, I thought that was a great time to go ahead and give it a try. I still have yet to get this one on my nails. It is sort of in that range of polishes that you've heard me talk about that I keep buying and never wearing in a very deep multi-chrome base, but we'll see. I'll have to come back here at some point and do some swatches and see if I want to keep that one, but for the time being, we'll keep it. Next up is one from Trust Fund Beauty. This one is called Zero Carbs. This is another family of colors that I buy a lot, so we'll have to come back and do some comparisons here at some point, but for the time being, we'll keep it. And then if I have dupes, I will keep the formula that I like the best. Next up is one from Daily Hues. This one is called Sage. Obviously, based on the name, it's a color that I do like in the green family. It is a beautiful sagey green, not too dark, not too light, so it's a beautiful fall green. I think for the time being, I will hold on to that one, and then maybe at some point come back and do some comparisons and see if I have anything too similar, but offhand, I can't think of any. Next up is one from Pure Ice. This one doesn't have a label, but I'm keeping it because this is beautiful. This is such a gorgeous, like, duochrome to multichrome. It does need a little bit of mixing and possibly some thinner, but I love this polish, so I'm definitely holding on to that one. Next up is one from Sally Hansen, and this one is called... Where is the name of this one? This one is called Gypsy Jade. I will hold on to this one as well because I love the tone of this. I think jade is a pretty good description. Not a dark jade, but a beautiful, like, light jade. Sort of like a jungle tone. It's really, really beautiful. Leans in the aqua shade as well. So we're holding on to that one. And then lastly in this tote is another from Butter London. This is Abso-Bloody-Lutely. And again, this is another shade of polish that I buy quite a lot because I love this tone of deep, like, oxblood red. So I'll have to compare it to at some point to some other polishes that I have in my collection. Reds were actually the first color family that I did some comparisons of, but this was apparently one that I decided to keep. And if I didn't decide to keep it, I apparently pulled it back into my collection. So for the time being, we're going to hold on to that one as well. All right, and there we have it. These are the polishes that I am destashing from Purple Bucket number 2. As you can see, there was some non-purple polishes. We've got some grays and some greens, but we actually have 17 polishes that I am destashing from that, which means we have surpassed bucket number 1 in our amount of polishes that we're destashing, but we're finally getting somewhere, I feel. I feel like I'm finally at that point where I'm ready to let go of some of these polishes. So we're making progress. That is over 30 polishes in 2 videos in the same day that I'm destashing, so that's progress. If you're interested in any of these polishes, feel free to visit my destash down below. It is Wild Moon Destash on Instagram. That's it for this video. Make sure to hit the little subscribe button down below. That way you don't miss out on any of my new videos, and I will see you in that next one.